All right. Let's begin. Let me just first give you a quick brief on about myself, about the agency that I run, and about the AI Foundation Middle East. So thank you for having me. My name is Mahmoud Barraj, CEO of Neural Design Studios, which is an agency that is a network agency. We have offices across the Middle East and North Africa. We have offices in Cairo. We have offices in Beirut, Lebanon, in Dubai, UAE, and Riyadh, KSA. I'm actually now on a market visit. Um, so, what is NDS? What is Neural Design Studios? It is a futuristic agency. By all means, we use a lot of the solutions, emerging tech solutions, as opposed to we don't like to use a lot the word of AI because it's being utilized in so many different ways, and it's becoming unfortunately a hyped terminology. Um, but actually, We use a lot of the emerging tech in our operations to streamline our work and to make sure that the client is being shared that value. Whether it's creating of storyboards or creating decks that can be generated by artificial intelligence, whereby there's a team up between the human element and the machine element. Um, and I'm happy to join you guys. Moving forward, I'll take you through holistically about. We start by looking at the concept of AI, and we will address the emotion or the topic, which is the systemic change in the marketing scene through the rise of AI, and that's a very important note for us, for everyone in the field, right? Because marketing as a function is going through actually a real systemic change. What do I mean by a systemic change? It's a shift, not a pivot. It's a complete shift towards a realization of both elements, whether it's an operational element within the agency or an actual facing client uh, um, add-ons, which will make also the promptness and the response to the client much faster, easier, and based on on a brief or on a direction from the client. So that's the title. The AI across industries have caused shift, not just marketing as a function, but finance as well, accounting as well. Engineering is being affected, coding altogether. Technology is itself is disrupting technology. So if you want to frame it that way, so how can we, as marketeers, stay ahead of the curve and make sure that we are adopting this race, so to speak, or this advancements in technology to stay relevant as a business model for an agency? Because if you are an agency who is used to a traditional concept agency where you are used to in essence, for a frame, for normal set of procedures in the agency, whether in the back end or front end facing client, there's emerging agencies, the likes of Neural Design Studios, who is very much designed to deliver value to the client in terms of creativity and promptness and swiftness. So that's the. But before we actually getting deep with the marketing concept and a quick overview on what is the AI, right? Because I mean it's a hyped word. Everyone is using AI and everything, right? Just to make themselves relevant in every field. Even leaders, they a lot of leaders they lack the actual knowledge bridging because historically speaking, tech people versus the actual business or enterprise they're in silos. The advancements used to be filed as journals and placed and published in journals, but they haven't been actually activated because of so many things. Allah will tap on the enablers later in the slides. So the Google CEO, we've seen them yesterday introduce their new release, which is also mind blowing because I mean the announcement came after right after OpenAI's a new release, which is, I mean, this will show how the race is real and how big tech firms realize that, and normally they pave the way for everyone else, and everyone else follow in terms of that. So the race is very much real, and most of the big tech firms, they are on top of the subject matter. For example, Google, they had huge libraries of journals, but the problem is that what they did is they stacked it, and they didn't actually adopt or made sense of it in a business model perspective. So they've been doing advancements in AI in healthcare. They have massive published journals in automotive and other fields. So they do have those archived. I mean, archives is I'm referencing like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They didn't actually, because they were utilizing in certain areas, but they didn't want to disrupt their own business model. Fast forward to 2022, specifically in November, if I'm not mistaken, OpenAI came and brought AI to the masses, and adoption from there just spiked. Every VC, every investor, angel investor, backer, everyone wants to ride the AI wave because they actually tasted the actual impact of, or the implications and applications of AI within their daily lives. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, he stated artificial is going to have a bigger impact on the world than some of the most unique, ubiquitous innovations in history, more important than fire and electricity. I mean, those statements coming from one of the biggest big tech firms is mind blowing, and this has happened even before the release of ChatGPT by OpenAI in 2022. So the big tech firms, they had those, they had the knowledge, but I believe it's a personal take that they haven't released because they didn't want to disrupt their business model. And if we visit now the data, a lot of people are pivoting towards using ChatGPT or Perplexity.ai or any other AI-driven software in their research or search aspect. So it speaks a lot. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, AI is in a golden age and solving problems that were once in the realm of sci-fi. Even Amazon, there are a lot of advancements. But I believe Amazon, they were the early adopters, especially in their backend, which created this differentiator for Amazon, which made them Amazon that is today. They use a lot of robotics in the backend, especially in their warehouses, the way they deliver their orders and what have you. Everything is driven by machine learning and deep learning in their orders and what have you. So again, what are the enablers of AI, and why now? Why AI came to 2022? We talk about accessibility, right? ChatGPT is just a sneak peek of what is AI. And think about it like this: LLM models or language models are one of the applications of AI. There's so many other applications, but I mean, if you want to talk only generative AI, see what has happened, right? I mean, our lives have changed. The way we do business have changed. Big consultancy firms, without naming any, most of you know the big four, they have leaked like documentation to their employees to double down on the usage on AI. Their consultancy on AI has increased drastically. So the numbers are just great. The adoption is massive, and everyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve or stay relevant in the now and in the present and in the future needs to learn how to do that or need to upskill and reskill themselves. Let's go back to the enablers of AI. So what are the enablers of AI? I mean, there's four well-known enablers. It's computational power, the rush. Now everyone's talking GPUs. Even the crypto markets are, a lot of projects are being introduced in the GPU aspect. And NVIDIA made a huge rise within a very short period of time, and it's the center, the most talked about organization globally. So, I mean, that speaks miles. Big data is another major enabler. Um, I would add here big quality data, right? Because your input is as good as your output is as good as your input. So there's a saying, junk in, junk out, gold in, gold out. So if the data is not clean, if you're working on an AI solution that is not being trained on actual good quality data, the outcome would be insignificant. We have much better algorithms, and this is also very important to complete the circle. And lastly, you need big organizations or deep pockets in order to fund huge, because AI comes with a lot of investment or requires a lot of investments across in order to achieve what AI needs to do. There's a lot of training. There's a lot of tools that needs to be hooked up, interoperability between different softwares and what have you. So it's really demanding in terms of. That's why now the most picked up engineers are the AI engineers. Someone who can actually connect the dots. Not just AI engineer is a very broad terminology. Or function. There's a lot of things in between that creates a map that a map of success, whereby you need to have a data scientist, you need to have a software engineer. So it's multiple of functions need to be organized to create a proper puzzle at the end. All right. Before actually, yeah, I'll make it. I try to swip to the marketing concept. So, there's three sections, right? I mean, everyone is talking about AI, and robots are gonna take over. When it's gonna take over? Is it really gonna take over? So all of these are getting those questions are always there. There's a lot of conspiracy theories and what have you. Just to frame it properly, there's three different levels of AI. There's the artificial narrow intelligence, there's the artificial general intelligence, and there's the artificial super intelligence. Where do we stand now? I believe a lot of the scholars believe that we are actually in the middle between the ANI and the AGI. We haven't reached a point whereby we are fully AGI, because fully AGI means a full mimicking of a individual, and we haven't reached that point yet. It can pick a lot of data, but it's still driven by a human, and it needs an input by a human. It needs to be trained by a human. And the last one is the artificial super intelligence. This is, hopefully we will not be. I mean, we won't we won't be there to witness it. So, but that's one. There's some people or some scholars who believe that now AI is running itself, and it's quite not now. Sorry, eventually we reach a point whereby it can think by itself. It can do things by itself without a human intervention, or at least control. All right. So narrowing down to our subject matter, it's how does it affect the marketing concept? Those are mostly the five top use cases in marketing. When it comes to advertising, A/B testing, creativity, defining target audience, reaching those audiences. Everyone is digital. Most of us are digital natives, or in between. If you are a millennial or Gen X or Gen Z, the new generation is very much they live and breathe digital. Most of us as well. We are Gen X and probably millennials. We are living in the age of technology. So what I'm trying to reach here is that if you want to target individuals, if you want to target clusters, segment clusters, you need to understand how the algorithmic language behind the platforms, whether if you're doing a social media activation or what have you, you need to have a minimum understanding of how those feeds work. And uh, because you're continuously updated. So staying on top of those is very important. Understanding how those take place, not intimately, but at least understand how it works when it happens to stay relevant and add value to your clients. Creativity, I mean, everyone is seeing now how the video generated by OpenAI. I forgot the name actually, but we were starting to see that full trailers, movie trailers, were created by pure AI using prompts, very real images. Very hard for a human being to distinguish if it's generated by a machine or it's actual footage. Um, even creating through DALI, ChatGPT, or Midjourney, and with a Runway or what have you. You have a lot of solutions now who can help create mood boards, storyboards. Usually, this used to take a lot of time from an agency to develop. Now is it's having the proper creative prompt engineer will add a lot of value for the agency, whereby it will uh, fasten the turnaround to client, shorten the rejection by the client, because when you want to propose and he needs to see how close the idea can be in reality before actually. So minimizing inconvenience by the client when the actual footage takes place. Decision making, of course, there's a lot of prediction models, a lot of attribution modeling that can be utilized. Very few agencies are actually utilizing it. Some growth marketing agencies are using it in their decision making of campaigns. And democratization, I mean, there's no limitations, right? It's $20, you have full access to ChatGPT 4.0, free 3.5. Everyone can access it. Everyone can learn daily. There's a lot of educational tools out there, whether YouTube, huge set of free educational tools. Besides Coursera, the big education platform. So this allows democratization. This allows agencies. It levels the ground. Everyone is equal. If you're a startup agency made of 10 individuals, or if you are an agency with 300 plus individuals, sorry, you can level out your understanding about the concept of AI in marketing by learning and upskilling and reskilling, and that's I believe the major challenge of agencies, um, how to be agile on this front. Most of the big multinationals are facing a bit of challenge because they are the processes is big because of the scale. So it's normally high to it's slightly harder for them to actually achieve a medium يعني as opposed to a medium-sized agency whereby they are like 30, 40 employees, much easier to kind of turn around the agency and much easier for even smaller agencies who can actually bridge the concept of creativity with the concept of emerging technologies to achieve the ultimate value for the agency. So the challenges, everyone talks about, I mean, job displacement, right? Everyone talks about, I personally just tapped on it, new skill sets, and data privacy. Data privacy, I mean, we all know that there's a lot of, there have been a lot of data breaches, and big tech firms are being pushed to properly govern data, used third-party data, user data. Um, which is affecting also our work as marketing agencies. Um, Job displacement is more of something that I believe it's not going to happen. Certain jobs, yes, will be not replaced, but if an individual or if let's say a copywriter used tools to use the tools the likes of ChatGPT to kind of help him streamline and then fine tune those relevant to the customer. Here, we need to bear in mind the skill of prompting, that's a skill by itself. People think it's easy to do or it's easy to achieve. It's actually not at all. You need to understand how to do it and how to communicate with the machine, right? So it's not just the first prompt, it's the follow-up prompt and the follow-up prompt and the follow-up prompt until you reach a point whereby the machine have trained on your prompt and its answers and eventually giving you the proper outputs. New skill sets, we need to think of upskilling. We should have this on our agendas. NDS have a clear agenda on this regard. Our probably we slightly ahead of other agencies in that front because we were built from the start on top of those layers, the technologies, and يعني our talent is very much utilizing those solutions. You have a proper setup in this place in order to kind of achieve a quick turnarounds value and ultimately proper monetization for the agency. We need to stay relevant, right? I mean, agencies now, I believe, they're at an inflection point. If they don't do some serious shifts in their strategies, specifically uh, um, in the talent aspect, they will at some point be left behind, irrespective of how big they are. A lot of local agencies in most of the markets that we operate in are coming up, and a lot of them they are actually they're understanding and they have this rapport with the concept of AI and technologies within their work. So yeah, all right. Practical tips. So we talked about data. The more the clean data when it comes to targeting, if you're using third-party data, the better, reaching to the target audiences and ultimately the value for client and sustainability for the agency, which means ultimately the revenue for the agency. Um, we don't need to think it's always like that. We need to think of that of where we stand now, not to replace, but to upskill, not to replace, but to reskill employees, right? Uh, it doesn't make sense at all to replace humans by machines, but using or allowing or giving access to employees to utilize those in order to better address their tasks, to better respond, to be responsive to clients, and ultimately creating a competitive edge. At some point, everyone will again be leveled up, but until this, now it's the spike is going up. At some point, most of the agencies, a lot of them will fade. Mostly the tech savvy agencies will reach a point leveled, and then again the advancement of AI, because like we talked early on, AI or the concept of technology is advancing like no other times. It's incredible with the past just 2 years what has happened, and it's sweeping everyone's life, right? A lot of the people I engage with, they always say we are not actually using technology or not, we're not using ChatGPT because they concerned, it's like using machines or they become irrelevant. Not really. This is the wrong way of thinking. The proper way is that utilizing those resources in order to achieve value for the client and for the agency as well. So it's more of a collaboration, right? A human machine collaboration. That's a very important quote. It's not my quote. It's I believe a guy called Sam. He's running an agency which is very much based in Europe, and they are built on technology. AI is not the enemy nor the savior. So that's that. Empowering business to harness power of the AI technologies in marketing. So we need to have a proper AI strategy, even for the agency, how to address it, how to upskill it, what the aspects need to be addressed, how can we actually create an AI strategy that for our agency that makes sense, considering our talent, considering our resources that we have in place, and to make sure that we are delivering to the agency and to the client value. Education, we spoke around it a lot. Connection is a connecting strategy with implementation when it comes to AI applications and the marketing rhetoric. And that's about it for this session. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, sharing those details with you.